Well guys, that's me fed and watered. So back on to coating these so that it's dry for tomorrow. Now, it's not a stage that is absolutely necessary, but I chose to acid etch and phosphate these ones. Now they've got a really, really dark grey colour now. The surface has been effectively rendered neutral, and literally every micro scratch on it has actually been acid etched. So we're in a good place, coating wise. Again, not essential, but it is a stage that I like to add. And I have seen the results between coatings being applied on just abraded surfaces and etched surfaces and etched surfaces. When the metal gets dented, bashed, scraped, tends to be so much better as regards any penetration underneath the coating. So for the sake of the 30 minutes and the small amount of solution that we need to do it, that's where we are. All 4 have been done. Now, I got into a little debate with a couple of fellas over the last 6 months about how to apply these coatings. Spraying seems to be the automatic go-to for everyone. I'm actually going to be brushing the coating into these, and the coating I'll be using is a coating from a company called Rustbuster, rust.co.uk. Club members get a discount from these guys if you order online. Check the magazine for the code. This is really not promoted as a card-based product. It's promoted as steel renovation paint. Well, I can tell you that I have coated fence rails, I've coated castings, I've coated cars, and I've actually got some of this on some flat steel which was cut and left outside in my back garden at home. And even the scratches that are in the coating, it's only the scratches that have rust, nothing's got underneath. Anything that's under the coating is absolutely brand new. So applied properly, applied to a correct surface that's been prepared properly, and it's a coating that will last forever. It's fantastic. I believe it also won a Practical Classics Award for rust prevention paint at one point. Not sure what month, what year, but certainly they did I think it was a 12-month test and then a 3-year follow-up, and they found exactly the same as me. The stuff's great. It used to be called epoxy mastic. There's a competitor's product also called that from Built Hamber. I've no idea if that's the reason behind the change of name, but certainly the name was changed. Now, as I said, I'll be brush painting these coatings on. The epoxy mastic, when it's neat, actually, if it's brushed in properly rather than sprayed, can actually fill a lot of the little imperfections and low spots in the metal, which you would normally end up needing a skim of filler for. If someone looks up the build thread on DDG220C on hillmanimp.org, you'll find halfway through where I fitted the half wings to the back of DDG, and I seam welded up where the wing was attached. I then brushed a very, very thin coat of EM121 in, mixed 1-to-1. I think it was 10%, might have been 20% thinner. Anyway, it was thin, and I brushed it into all the welded seam. Now, despite it looking completely sealed from the outside, there was still weepage of the coating from the inside. So it did find its way through, which is, to me, is fantastic news, because it means that any of those wells and preps were sealed all the way through the metal rather than on the surface. I then applied a coat of EM121, just mixed neat, one part compound A, 1 part compound B. I then brush painted it on in 2 coats, and it was thick, I mean thick. Right along the seam of the car. Give me a minute and I'll turn the camera. right along here under the chamois trim, where I had the join. Now, I brush painted epoxy all the way across here. And I mean, I put it on thick. Now, when I blocked that out, it filled every low spot that was on that wing and left it near perfect. And that was just from brush painting the epoxy in. No filler, which never gets into all the scratches anyway. No white dust everywhere. Nightmare. Especially your lightweight fillers, that dust just gets everywhere. And when it was blocked down, honestly, the finish across there was, I can already feel those spots in that, but certainly on DDG it came out absolutely fantastic. Another coat down and we were ready to go. I also put some in a syringe, thinned down, and ran it in from the back along the seam of the inner wing. So it bled down into here, started dripping out here, but it also filled into here. So any damage that I did on any of the coating when I welded it should be pretty well covered and should last a very, very long time. That's use of it as a filler. There's actually a very, very nice article on rust.co.uk about using EM121 actually as a skim filler. There you go, another hazard of working in your own workshop yourself. Never ending job of tidying up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and mix up some of the EM121 and then I'm going to brush apply it into these. I'm going to leave it till tomorrow, and the sections that we see here will get some more attention by way of blocking out, and you'll see a very, very, I feel a little high spot right there already. You'll see actually a very, very nice benefit in the EM121 in that it becomes its own guide coat. It has a semi-matte finish when applied. It has a matte finish when it's blocked out. So you can easily see any low spots, you can easily see any scratches, dents, crevices, even from brush painting, which is why I say it doesn't make a lot of difference. But more importantly, you know it's stuck on that surface. And it's absolutely sound. So these sections here will get blocked out, recoated if necessary tomorrow, and might need a little bit of filler down there, but the epoxy might be enough. Then we're going to add top coat onto this section, because what I planned on doing on this build, it's always something that I've been very, very curious about, is how much I can get away with actually painting, as in top coat, the panels off the car. So I'm going to take the opportunity on this one to experiment a little bit. So all of the panels that are going on here, sills, floors, half rear wings, full front wings, back partial shelf, you know, everything else is going to be painted off the car, where I don't have to bend down, where I don't have to go in through awkward corners, where I don't have to watch the panel next to me. So we can be quite a bit less careful than we would be on the car, painting them off the car. Because I really, really don't think the points where we weld and fix these panels to the car are going to need that much. And we will already have a shiny coat on the car to see if there's any distortion, if there's any low spots, and perhaps have the opportunity to adjust the panels to get most of that out before we actually fix them permanently to the car. So that's going to be an interesting experiment, but an experiment that is going to be. It kind of puts the normal approach to paint being the last process to the front rather than the back. But after having painted many cars, it's a pain in the backside. Doing it all in one go, I don't actually think I would be capable of doing that now. So this approach should only lead me to have to do the roof. In worst case, I actually have to add just another small thinner layer, a couple of wet layers onto any of the panel work down below. But most importantly, the panel work should only need 4 600 grit to actually take the shine off to take another coat. But we'll see how that goes. Job for another day. Off to actually mix this up now, and we'll be back with you shortly. Okay, this is just about ready to coat. I have mixed up, as you can see here, a very, very small amount of EM121 in sort of round about the same red as the original primer is underneath most of the roof panels. So any scratches, it should look kind of the same. Plus I find that this is a very, very nice colour for me to see with my older eyes. Lightning as well. So the recommended wet method for this is to leave it about 10 minutes, stirring, agitating before applying, just to make sure that the reaction is fully underway before you apply. Now, a cautionary word: these kits come with its own thinners, and while in a lot of cases over the years I would have said thinners is thinners, I had a case with a Bisa coating, which was their URKI 70 Rapid One Coat coating, which also has its own thinners. And when I picked that coating up, which is the yellow coating you see on the frames that we have around about the workshop, I tend to use that for, well, there's some of the yellow there. I tend to use sort of machine room colours, yellow, green, for any of the fixtures and whatnot. And when I picked it up this time, they didn't have the thinners for the system, and they said standard thinners will do. I queried it at the time, said, well, you know, if standard thinners will do, well, why is the formulation different? Well, no, standard thinners will do, but you know, when you get advice from professionals at the paint shop, you take it. And I mixed it up as normal. I spray applied it. 2 days later, the damn paint was still soft. It went on okay, it mixed okay, it didn't react. It was still soft. Now, having used this coating many times, I can honestly say that you can touch it within hours. Next day, it's hard. Day after that, it's brick hard. It certainly is not soft. So when I did the frame for the inside of the car, where I took the sills off, I ordered in some Bisa thinners. I mixed exactly the same batch of paint that I had originally in the yellow, and I applied that to the frame, unthinned. Should take a bit longer to cure. By the next day it was brick hard. So this goes to show, yes, the thinners worked. No, it didn't actually have the desired effect for the coating. So I've seen people use other thinners for these products, and all I can say is if you do that, pays your money, takes your chance, and you're 100% sure the coating will actually perform later as it's intended, even though it goes on nice. You don't know, unfortunately, with the coatings that we're putting on at the moment. The only way we find out in 10 years if it rots out. So for the sake of a couple of quid for the correct thinners, I'll stick with using that, and always actually buy a little extra. Because like they say with the whiskey and angel share, it is a solvent. You will lose a little bit to loss in the air. And saying that, now that I've came a bit closer, time to get the mask on. Do that before I mix up any more. If you're going to use one of these masks, make sure it actually does what you need it to do. Some of them will actually only do dust to a certain particular size, some of them will do solvents. You need one that would actually do solvents as well. That should be it mixed up now, so here we go. Yep, I probably sound a little bit like Darth Vader now. Every time I've got one of these masks on, I keep joking with my son. Liam, I have some bad news. I am your father. Usually gets a laugh. Richard Clade might get a laugh at it. Or they could pass it along to the garrison. But my bad impersonations of the man himself. Okay. He says looking for his brush, which I cannot find. Lucky white heather. Perhaps I should have tidied up first. Not the brush I had planned, but that'll do. Don't point cleaning up off the floor for the sake of 5 minutes to pull the polythene back out. The floor might be old, might be very, very dirty, but no point making it any worse. We'll get a couple of close-ups in a minute of the coat being applied so you can just see how easily it flows. For the moment, let's just step back and dust it. You can see I'm not actually taking too much care, but the care I am taking is to make sure it's well brushed into the surface. That's our end goal. Okay, that's us with the camera off the mount, and as we can see, the coating has levelled up beautifully even though it's been brushed on. So we'll get that rather lathered on here with the last of it, and when it comes to the other ones I didn't take quite as much care, but certainly we'll see about getting that sorted out tomorrow. Time to go home and start downloading some footage. Just going to actually add a very quick comment in about the coating when I mentioned about it being its own guide coat. That's it, partly blocked. You see coming through a bit here, so I've brushed it in a bit thin, so that will need another coat. And you can see where the ridges are. Now if I quickly take my small block, you will slowly see all the low spots disappear. See the spots get less and less, and the ridges get less and less. You can see the marked difference between the low spots and of course there we go, one low spot there which will simply not go. As you can see, it's not difficult to sand, not quite as bad as white primer, and I will be finished this in no time. So there you go, self-guiding epoxy coating.